Ever get kind of buried in research and wish you could just hit a button to turn it all into a podcast?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, what if there was a tool that could do all the heavy lifting for you, save you tons of time, maybe even make you some money on the side?
That'd be pretty sweet.
So that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Oh, cool.
We're looking at this YouTube video. It's called Get Paid $10 a Month with this new secret Google method.
Okay.
And it's by this channel called Journey with the Hintons.
Catchy name.
Yeah, definitely grabs your attention.
For sure. What is this secret Google method they're talking about?
Well, it all revolves around this Google AI tool called Notebook LM.
Notebook LM.
Yeah, and they claim it can analyze, like, tons of different stuff, documents, articles, you name it, videos, even just like random notes you have lying around. It can organize all that info and, get this, actually generate a full-blown podcast from it.
Whoa, hold on. A podcast, like with actual conversation and everything?
Yeah.
I mean, can AI really sound that natural?
Well, the Hintons actually play a clip of an AI-generated podcast in their video.
Oh, really?
It's a conversation about Genesis chapter 3 from the Bible. And honestly, you would never guess it wasn't two people talking. It's kind of wild.
Wow, that is pretty impressive. But doesn't that raise some, like, copyright issues? I mean, can you just feed someone else's content into an AI and make a podcast out of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. The Hintons do address that. They say that analyzing and discussing existing sources, like for educational purposes, falls under fair use.
Ah, I see. Fair use. That makes sense.
But to be honest, the part that really got me hooked was the whole money-making angle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Hintons claim you can connect these AI-generated podcasts with, affiliate marketing on a website.
Okay, yeah. Affiliate marketing can be pretty lucrative, especially when you've got the right content to promote those links. And a podcast, that could be a really effective way to, build an audience and establish yourself as an authority in a niche. But how do they suggest actually doing all of that? Like, what's their step-by-step?
They lay out this whole process for creating a website using Hostinger. They even share a discount code for their viewers.
Oh, nice.
They recommend starting with a business plan, which is only $3 a month.
Mm.
And then you choose a WordPress blog and install the Seriously Simple podcasting plugin.
Interesting. Well, right off the bat, they're being strategic. Choosing a business plan over, like, the basic one. That tells me they're anticipating a decent amount of traffic, probably need those extra features it comes with. And WordPress, yeah, that's generally a solid choice for blogging. Pretty user-friendly, tons of customization options. And that plugin makes sense, too. It's designed specifically for managing and publishing podcasts.
Right. Streamlines the whole process.
Yep.
And then, this is where it gets really cool. They even suggest using AI content creation tools within Hostinger to generate blog posts.
Okay.
And then they use those blog posts as the source material for Notebook LM to create the podcasts.
Oh, that's clever. So they're essentially bridging the gap between written content and audio content.
Yeah.
It's like people who prefer reading, they can engage with the blog posts. And then the folks who prefer listening, they can tune into the podcast.
Exactly. You're getting like double the mileage out of your effort.
Smart.
And they give this example of creating a blog post about the top 10 ways AI is revolutionizing health and wellness, and then using that to generate a podcast with Notebook LM. They actually play a clip of the result. And it sounds really good.
I'm kind of curious, what kind of topics did they specifically recommend for these podcasts? Like, what areas did they focus on?
They said things like product reviews, top 10 lists, how-to guides, gift guides, basically anything that kind of naturally lends itself to incorporating affiliate links.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, the whole goal with affiliate marketing is to weave those links into your content in a way that feels natural, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to just slam people with a sales pitch. It's got to be about genuinely adding value for the listener.
Absolutely. Provide valuable content. People are more likely to trust your recommendations and click those links. Win-win for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So they go through, like, the actual step of embedding the podcast on the Hostinger website. It's all in that podcasting section. Seems pretty straightforward.
It does. But you know what really caught my attention? They were like really emphasizing the importance of having both the written blog content and the audio podcast. They said it can like totally boost your visibility on Google.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's all about SEO, search engine optimization. Google's algorithm looks at a bunch of different things when it's ranking websites, and having both those content formats, well, it tells Google that your site is, it's offering a richer, more comprehensive experience for people. Plus, it gives you more chances to use those keywords that people might be searching for.
Right. So it's not enough to just create great content. Got to make sure people can actually find it too.
Exactly.
Okay, get ready for this next part because it kind of blew my mind. The Hintons then go on to explain this completely different method using Notebook LM. You can turn existing YouTube videos into podcasts.
Wow, that's an interesting twist. But, I mean, it makes sense. Think about it. YouTube is like this massive library of content. Pretty much every topic you can imagine is already covered there. Why reinvent the wheel, right? You can tap into that existing audience and, potentially reach even more people through podcasting.
Right, and all those creators who are already part of the YouTube Partner Program, they could be making even more money by repurposing their videos as podcasts.
Exactly. Maximize that existing content, reach a wider audience.
Yep,
The Hintons actually play a clip of a Notebook LM-generated podcast. It's based on a Cat Williams interview. Hilarious.
I bet.
It really highlights how engaging this method can be, especially when you're starting with a source that's already super entertaining.
Of course, the copyright question pops up again. Is it legal to just transform someone's YouTube video into a podcast?
Well, the Hintons address that. They reassure viewers that using, publicly available YouTube videos for analysis and discussion, that falls under fair use as well.
Okay, good to know. Always better to be safe than sorry. But back to the creative side of things, the Hintons even suggest using Canva templates to, visually enhance the audio podcast before uploading it to YouTube.
Oh, that's smart. Even though it's an audio format, having that visual element can really make your podcast stand out on YouTube. It helps reinforce your brand, create a more cohesive look and feel for all your content. Plus, you can get a free 30-day trial for Canva Pro, so there's a bonus.
Nice.
I actually learned something from this video, too. Did you know YouTube Studio has a dedicated podcast section now?
No way, really?
Yeah, YouTube is really leaning into podcasts as like a separate category, which is great news for creators. I mean, it's a relatively new platform for podcasting, so there's less competition compared to Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
So you could potentially earn ad revenue through the YouTube Partner Program and attract sponsors as your channel grows.
Yep, exactly. Double dose of income potential.
Love it.
It's worth noting that the Hintons also tell on a third method. You can actually create podcasts directly from text prompts in Notebook LM.
Oh, right. What about that? They even suggested using ChatGPT to generate those prompts.
Exactly. ChatGPT can come up with all sorts of creative ideas.
So, like, you could tell ChatGPT, give me a funny podcast topic about the history of cheese, and you would actually spit out a prompt you could use in Notebook LM.
Yep. It's like having this endless supply of creative fuel. And it can be super helpful if you're someone who struggles with, writer's block or just needs a little nudge in the right direction.
I'll admit I'm starting to get pretty excited about all this. But before we go totally AI crazy, I kind of want to step back for a second and consider the bigger picture here.
Okay, yeah.
What are some potential downsides or limitations of, relying so heavily on AI for podcast creation?
That's a good question. While these AI tools offer a lot of possibilities, we can't forget their limitations. For example, AI-generated content can sometimes lack that nuance, that depth, and originality that comes from human creativity.
So it's not going to, instantly turn everyone into a successful podcaster.
Right. It's crucial to view these tools as collaborators. They can augment our human capabilities, but they can't fully replace us. The Hintons themselves emphasize that it's important to review and edit the AI-generated content. Make sure it's accurate, inject your own unique voice and perspective.
So we're still the head chef, right? AI can help us prep the ingredients, but we're the ones who bring it all together and add that special something that makes it amazing.
Exactly. And, these AI tools, they're becoming more user-friendly, but they do require a bit of, technical know-how. There's a learning curve.
Okay, so you can't just push a button and have a perfect podcast.
Right.
What else should our listeners be wary of as they explore these tools?
Well, I'd say watch out for those promises of, effortless success. The Hintons, they do emphasize that success still takes work. You got to research your niche, build an audience, and consistently create high-quality content.
Right. Just like any other skill, it takes practice, dedication, a willingness to learn and adapt.
Exactly.
But what about the ethical considerations? There's been a lot of talk lately about the potential impact of AI on creativity and the job market.
That's a valid concern, and one we should definitely address. It's important to remember that AI is a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. The impact on creative fields and the job market, that's a complex issue with no easy answers.
So it's really up to us as humans to, make sure that AI is used responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely. We need to have those open and honest conversations about the risks, and actually work towards mitigating those risks.
That makes sense. We could probably do a whole other deep dive just on that topic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But for now, let's bring it back to our listeners. What are like some key takeaways they should keep in mind when they're exploring these AI-powered podcasting tools?
I'd say first and foremost, do your research. Don't just jump on the first bandwagon you see. There are so many AI tools out there, and they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. Really take the time to understand how they work, what they can do, what they can't do, and, whether it's a good fit for your specific goals.
Right. Got to choose the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And once you've, found a tool that seems promising, don't be afraid to experiment with it. Play around, see what works, what doesn't work. There's no one right way to do this.
It's like learning a new instrument, right? You got to practice, explore different techniques, find your own style.
Perfect analogy. And remember, AI can help with different parts of the process, but ultimately, you're the one responsible for the quality of your content, the accuracy, the originality.
So AI can help us work smarter, not harder, but it's not going to replace us humans altogether. Speaking of working smarter, what about the whole money-making thing? The Hittens make some pretty bold claims about, earning potential. They even throw out a figure of like $10,000 a month. Is that realistic?
While it's definitely possible to make good money from podcasting, I think it's important to approach those kinds of claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. Even the Hintons admit that success requires effort, consistency, and a bit of luck.
So it's not like a guaranteed path to riches?
Definitely not. I mean, there are tons of podcasts out there, and only a small percentage of them ever reach that level of, financial success.
It's kind of like any other field, right? Takes talent, hard work, and a little bit of luck to stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. And, AI can help level the playing field when it comes to like production quality and efficiency, but it's still up to you to create engaging content that people actually want to listen to.
So it's not just about like churning out as many podcasts as possible.
Right. It's about quality over quantity.
Focus on creating content that brings something valuable to your listeners, whether that's entertainment, education, inspiration, whatever.
It's about building a community, not just chasing those downloads and clicks.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I like that.
The Hintons actually talk about that a lot. Building relationships with your listeners, engaging with them on social media, creating that sense of belonging.
It's like hosting a party. You want your guests to feel welcome, entertained, and like they want to come back for more.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of keeping those guests happy, let's get back to like the nitty-gritty of monetization. What are some specific strategies the Hintons recommend?
Well, they highlight several different ways to generate income. Affiliate marketing, sponsorships, even direct sales.
So it's not all about ad revenue.
Right. Having multiple income streams is really important for building a sustainable business, especially in the podcasting world.
Yeah, makes sense. Got to have those eggs in multiple baskets.
Exactly. And the Hintons go into detail about how to set up those affiliate links, approach potential sponsors, even create your own products or services to sell directly to your audience.
It's like they've laid out this roadmap to podcasting success. But even with a roadmap, you still need to know how to read it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What are some common pitfalls or challenges that podcasters should be aware of?
One of the biggest ones is consistency.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to stick to a regular schedule, especially when life gets in the way.
It's like going to the gym, right? Easy to start with good intentions, but much harder to actually keep it up.
Exactly. The Hintons recommend setting realistic goals, creating a content calendar, maybe batch producing episodes to stay ahead of the game.
It's like meal prepping for your podcast.
I love that.
Cook up a bunch of episodes in advance so you're always ready to serve your listeners a fresh dish.
Perfect. Another big challenge is, standing out from the crowd. There are literally millions of podcasts out there. So how do you get people to actually listen to yours?
Right, it's like trying to be heard in a crowded room.
The Hintons really emphasize niching down, focusing on a specific topic or a specific audience, something you're passionate about.
Find your tribe, speak directly to them.
Exactly. They also talk about the importance of having good audio quality. People are more likely to tune out if your podcast sounds amateurish or if the production quality is just bad.
It's like having a bad phone connection. Even if you're having the most amazing conversation, if people can't hear you clearly, they're going to hang up.
That's a great way to put it. The Hintons give some good tips on choosing the right microphone, editing software, even using background music to make your podcast sound more professional.
So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly.
Okay, but how do you actually get people to listen to your podcast? How do you promote it?
That's where marketing comes in. The Hintons recommend using a combination of strategies: social media, email marketing, guest appearances on other podcasts, even paid advertising if you have the budget.
It's like launching a new product. You got to get the word out, generate some buzz.
Right, and they give specific tips for each platform, like how to write compelling social media posts, how to create engaging email newsletters.
So it's like they're giving you a marketing playbook. But even with a playbook, you still need a good coach.
Oh, absolutely.
Do the Hittens offer, like, any ongoing support or resources for their viewers?
They definitely encourage people to subscribe to their channel for regular updates and tips and tutorials. They also have a website with a bunch of resources like blog posts, ebooks, even online courses.
So it's like having a podcasting mentor in your pocket.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. They've created this community of aspiring podcasters, and they're giving them the tools and support to, actually make their dreams a reality.
That's awesome. But I guess, like with any mentorship, ultimately your success is up to you.
Absolutely. The Hittens are big on that too. They really emphasize taking ownership of your journey, setting goals, and putting in the work.
Yeah, you got to put in the work, no shortcuts.
Exactly. And while AI can be super helpful, it can't replace those human elements, the passion, the dedication, the hard work.
So AI can be a powerful tool, but it's not a magic bullet. It's up to us to use it wisely, ethically, and create content that actually matters.
Well said. And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating. We're at this point where human creativity and AI are starting to merge, and the possibilities are just endless.
It's kind of both exciting and a little bit intimidating, don't you think?
Oh, for sure.
Who knows what's going to happen next?
But one thing's for sure, things are changing fast.
And those who can adapt are going to thrive.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's bring it back to the here and now.
Sounds good.
What are some, actionable steps that our listeners can take today to start exploring these AI-powered podcasting tools?
Well, the first thing I'd recommend is checking out Notebook LM. It's free, it's from Google, and it's actually surprisingly user-friendly.
It's like the gateway drug to AI podcasting.
Huh, I like that. And once you've gotten the hang of Notebook LM, you can start looking at other AI tools like ChatGPT for generating those prompts, Descript for audio editing, things like that.
So you can start building your, AI podcasting toolkit.
Exactly.
But, before you go out and spend a bunch of money, remember that you don't need all the fancy tools to get started.
That's true. Focus on the basics first. A decent microphone, some good editing software, and most importantly, a story that you're passionate about sharing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about the story.
Absolutely. AI can help us tell those stories in new and innovative ways, but it's not going to replace that human element of creativity and passion and connection.
So embrace the power of AI, but don't forget the power of your own voice.
Well said.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. From the technical side of using AI to the ethics of it all to, the money-making potential. We really covered a lot of ground.
We did, and hopefully we've inspired some folks to, actually dive in and explore this world of AI podcasting.
And if they want to learn more about this specific method that we talked about today, and the tools involved, they can always check out the Journey with the Hittens YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely. The Hittens provide a ton of great information.
So there you have it, folks. Another deep dive complete. AI is changing the game, and those who embrace it are going to be the ones who thrive.
I agree. It's an exciting time to be a podcaster, that's for sure.
Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap things up.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
Likewise. Always a great conversation.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay curious.